It's funny because every time I step into the chair before I compete, I always have this little moment where I'm like, wait, what am I doing here? Like, why did I put myself in this situation? My name is Cloe Coscoy. I'm on the US bouldering team, do a lot of bouldering World Cups, international competitions and local competitions as well. And yeah, it's like to be out here in Germany at the Get High event with 5'10".
What is it about climbing that hooked you in the first place?
I grew up playing a lot of sports. Like, I used to swim on a swim team for a while. I ran cross country, track, played some tennis, did some skateboarding, some snow sports. And I feel like all of those sports I loved. I liked competing. I liked just going out and being active. But there was something about it to where I never stuck with it for more than a couple years at most. And then as soon as I found climbing, it was kind of this thing where as soon as I started, I knew I would never stop. And I think that kind of comes down to just this feeling of being able to play and move my body in a way that's really creative. And when there's so many different ways to do a move, it really kind of opens up the world of where you're I can do it my way. And I get to play and do this in a way that feels right and feels fun. And I think the way climbing lent itself to that for me was so cool, and so I stuck with it. And yeah.
How does it feel when you solve a problem your way?
I mean, I think one thing that's really unique about competing especially is that when you're on the mats, you're your biggest champion, but also if something's going to hold you back, it's probably yourself and your mental and your belief in yourself. And so that's kind of a space that's really taught me to trust myself, believe in myself, be willing to take risks. And yeah, I think climbing is pretty unique in that way, to where when you can commit to something and kind of make it your own, a lot of the times the experience that comes out the other end is a pretty good one.
Has climbing influenced your self-confidence in any way?
I think climbing definitely made me a more confident person. I think not only did I feel comfortable around climbers, and it's a community that's always made me feel really welcome and excited. When I walk into the climbing gym, that's a space where I instantly feel if I've been stressed about something during the day or it's been a rough week, the moment I step into the gym, I can kind of feel I'm able to put all of that away and really be myself and be comfortable. Yeah, this kind of light, playful attitude about climbing is something that I kind of always come back to, and I feel that the climbing gym is always a space that's really open for that.
Would you say the mental challenges in climbing are just as significant as the physical ones?
Yeah, I think without a doubt, for me, the mental side is the most important thing, especially speaking for myself and the way I like to climb. I think the number one thing that helps me feel good on the mats and frankly perform at the end of the day is energy. When I feel energized and excited, that's when I'm able to commit to moves more, be more risky, be more explosive, more powerful. And if I can get myself into that headspace, that's where I thrive, I think. So that can be anything listening to music, talking to my friends, doing easier versions of moves to get myself hyped up. But I think whatever I can do to get myself into that headspace where mentally I feel good, for me, that's the sweet spot and what I aim for when I go into the session, for sure.
You've mentioned that you love competing. Does that alone put you in your zone, or does it take something specific to get you into that mindset?
Yeah, it's funny because without a doubt, I can say I love competing. Competing in sports is one thing, and then competing in climbing is just my favorite thing ever. But it's funny because every time I step into the chair before I compete, I always have this little moment where I'm wait, what am I doing here? I'm kind of nervous. My heart's beating a little faster. I'm I could be just sitting on the couch, hanging out. Why did I put myself in this situation? And then every single time, without fail, the second I step onto the mats, all of that goes away. And whether the round's going well or not, there's this feeling of presence and of living in the moment that I get when I'm on the mats that I just don't get elsewhere. And at the end of the round, it's almost always I can have a moment where I'm like, I'm glad I did that. Like, that was awesome.
What are the main emotions you experience during a competition?
The biggest thing, maybe not so much an emotion, but just a feeling, is like, I just feel energized when I climb. Like, when I finish a climb and it's something that I wasn't sure I'd be able to do, or something that I know is hard and I've practiced and so I'm able to execute. Like, as soon as I top a boulder, that kind of rush of energy and that psych is like, it's insane, and it keeps me coming back every time. Like, bad round or not, if I can find like a tiny moment where I get even just a little taste of that, I'm like, oh yeah, that was worth it, and I hope I can just get more of it, do it on bigger stages, and just like keep topping boulders, because it's pretty fun. So yeah.
Do you ever deal with fear or anxiety when you climb? And if so, how do you manage it?
One thing that'll come up a lot of the time is like, I'll be in front of a move and it's really risky. Like, if it's a jump or something, maybe it's a big move, the fall is a little sketchy. Every single time, I think what I try to tell myself is you have to go for it the first time. Because what you'll see people do sometimes in competition is it'll take a few tries of like testing the move before you really go for it. And at the end of the day, it's kind of all building up to the same thing, which is like this moment where you're like, I'm all in, like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try and stick this move. I'm gonna commit to it. And so I usually have that dialogue in my head of like, go for it now. Like, don't wait 2 minutes from now to like give it a real good go. Go for it now. And sometimes I think just that 3, 2, 1 go is like the easiest thing to do when I have all this like worry and anxiety about it. Is like, once I just go, like, I can put all that aside. But the more I sit in that uncertainty, is the longer I'll start to feel uncomfortable and unsure. So that's a big one. And then before rounds, I like to listen to music and kind of hype myself up. That's always fun. So I do that as well.
You said when you first started climbing, you immediately felt that it was your thing. Did you already imagine yourself going pro back then?
Like, professional sports is pretty uncertain, and it can be kind of tricky to imagine yourself in that space. Like, I definitely have a lot of imposter syndrome about that even now, of just like, wait, I get to like climb for a living? That's crazy. Maybe like there are other people who deserve it more, but I think the one thing that I can say and that I am proud of is like, ever since I was young and started competing, I knew I wanted to improve and I wanted to push myself, and I think I've kept doing that like for over a decade now, of like day in, day out, even when, you know, I think a lot of the times I'm able to find the positive and fun side of things, but there are a lot of sessions where it's just been hard. I didn't really want to go to the gym, or, you know, the session wasn't my favorite to do, and you just got to do it. If it's something that's like bigger than you in that day, it's like something that you see potentially in the future, like you have to try. And I think when I was younger, like with how much I loved climbing, I couldn't not go for it and try and train as much as I could, compete as much as I could, and just see what happened, because that's what made sense to me. Like, that's what I like to do, and that's what made me feel like the most alive. So I'm glad I went for it, and gonna keep going for it.
Would you say climbing is a sport that welcomes everyone?
The challenges that come up in climbing are so varied. They're mental, they're physical, but they're also technical. There's a flexibility aspect, there's the finger strength aspect, there's the arm and like upper body strength aspect, and all those things lends itself to different body types, different strengths, different skills, different ways of thinking about movement, to where everyone has a place where they can kind of find their thing that they're a little better at. And I think that lends itself really well to creating like a space where everyone has a place.
As a professional athlete, do you feel a sense of responsibility to be a role model for others?
Yeah, I think like growing up within the climbing space, one thing I can speak to is definitely watching stronger climbers was a big part of defining like who I wanted to be as a climber. And yeah, I mean, I think as you start to improve, people kind of look up to you, and it's important to kind of like I was talking about, treat everyone with respect. If people are psyched and they're excited to move around and they're excited about climbing, you have something in common, and that's pretty cool. And I think immediately, like, having that connection with people creates a cool space to just have conversations and talk. So whenever I can, and I hope other people feel the same, like if we can talk to each other and have a conversation, be friendly, be nice, be respectful, then I think that's pretty great. And so I like to definitely just strike up a conversation, chat with people, learn more about them. And you know, if we talk about climbing a little bit, that's cool too, because climbing's pretty fun.
If someone new to climbing asked for your best piece of advice, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that helped me in terms of progressing in climbing, I'd say, is try not to be too scared getting a little uncomfortable. I think, like, the climbing in general definitely tests people's limits mentally and physically, and it's pretty cool that we have, like, such an accessible way to, like, kind of play with that a little bit, push it a little bit, and see if maybe we can surprise ourselves and do something that we didn't expect to be able to do. So to get a little comfortable being uncomfortable, take a few risks on the climbing wall, within the climbing space. Like, if that's a place where you feel comfortable walking in the door, then maybe it's somewhere where you can get a little bit uncomfortable trying a move that you wouldn't normally try, or striking up a conversation with people you might be intimidated to talk to. Just a little bit. You don't need to, like, dig yourself into a hole, but, like, try things out. Get a little uncomfortable. You never know. Something cool might happen.
And finally, what do you appreciate most about the climbing community?
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about the climbing community, and I've kind of said this before, but it's the psych and the playfulness. Like, I started climbing when I was young, but I'm a little older now, in my 20s, and then as I grow up, I think climbing will always be a place where I can come and play, and that is just really exciting and cool. And sometimes I talk to my friends, I'm like, man, I wish we still played tag or hide and seek or, you know, all these kids games, because I mean, it's fun. It's fun to just kind of put things aside and move around and be enthusiastic about playing and playing games, and climbing kind of is that for a lot of people. And the fact that as a community we all share that and can get excited about that, I think is so special and creates, like, such amazing spaces.